These two bikes are worth about the same, and they both need about the same amount of work. Question is, which one's worth flipping and which one's wasted time? If you're new to this channel, I started this journey by cashing in some recycling cans and decided to buy, restore and fix up all the neglected bikes and sell them for profit. Our current total is, and it's all towards my goal of dream retro mountain bike. So what we have here is a fairly modern, well, by this channel standards, Giant Boulder. Now this bike, obviously it's missing a back wheel. When I bought it off the gentleman, he said his son was jumping curbs and snapped a whole bunch of spokes on it. He was planning to fix it and never did. Now the bike is in a pretty decent condition. It's filthy because apparently it's been sitting for about 2 years, but we have pretty good grips on both sides, bit of rust and dust. Forks are not pitted. As I said, the bike is pretty much just filthy. So I'm hoping this one will be okay. However, I'm not quite sure what the deal will be at the rear. Is there any bends, cracks? Of course, we're gonna find the back wheel. So that's the task number one. So let me go and find the back wheel and then we're gonna start on this bike because this is probably gonna be the easier of the two. The second bike is this Baroni. Now, this is a steel frame bike. Has a pretty okay tubing, Tange. Apparently made in Australia, either Western Australia or South Australia. I couldn't quite figure it out. Now the reason why I picked up this one, because it was again very cheap, only $30, and this bike has quite a lot of positives. So let me show you positives. First things first, the bike is complete. Wheels match and it looks in a pretty original condition. Second positive is that the tires are in a really good nick. So the rear and front are pretty decent tires. The other thing is that this is a full Suntour group set. So we have here is a Suntour Blaze derailleur with the Suntour cranks and the front derailleur and the shifters and the brake calipers and the brake levers. I've never come across a full Suntour equipped bike. So yeah, that's a little bit different and I think it'll be interesting to someone. Now the negatives about this bike is obviously the chain, which is very dry. And the main issue that we have is that it's missing one of the cogs. Now this being a Suntour equipped, I have no clue how this is going to work and whether we can fix it, but we'll give it a go. So I'm gonna start with this bike first. I'm hoping that I can just replace the wheel and then give a bike a wash and maybe a tune up and it should be an easy one. There is a guy that lives near me that sells bike parts and bits and pieces all the time. So I'm gonna hit him up and see if he's got a back wheel that works and it's cheap enough. And then hopefully I can find something that's within a price range and then we'll get onto this one. And we got the back wheel. Now it cost more than the whole bike, but it was still cheap enough that it's worthwhile. There is an issue with the cassette though, that we'll need to figure out. But for now, let's just slap this wheel on and then we'll figure out what we need to do. So, whee. Whew. The first thing I was checking whether the hub is the right width and whether it will work for this bike, and it does. Yeah. The wheel's even straight, so that's a bonus. All right, let's give it a wash. So here's the funny part. I don't have an angle grinder. My last one blew up when I built that Splendor. So we're gonna go the old school way and start hacking. You see, I never stole a bike in my life. I wouldn't know how to do this. There we go. Bike is clean, and next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the tires because the rear tire is quite perished and cracking, and the front one is in a good condition, but it's different to what I have. I do have a set of tires I'm gonna just slap on. The important part though, there is no damage at the back. So the first thing I'll do is inspect the bearings, take the tires off, and then just give the wheel a bit of a clean. They're still quite sort of dusty and dirty, but nothing special, just a quick wipe down. So this is the original front wheel, and it feels good enough to not to worry about. Alrighty, front wheel is done. So we got these Innova puncture breaker tires on it. Now let's do a rear. Now rear, the biggest issue that we have is that the cassette is 8-speed, in a good condition, but the shifters are 7-speed. So what I will do is adjust my derailleur so that it starts from the second cog and it uses all the way up to the highest one, and then yeah, you just won't be able to use the lowest gear, but this is a mountain bike, it'll be fine. Let's do this one. One other thing I forgot to do is to check and see what's in this bag that came with the bike. Oh wow, okay. So there's a rear axle. I think I can use some of the parts of this. It's missing a cone. The good part is it has a skewer, and it's a better condition than this one. So we'll use this skewer. There's some ball bearings and the axle, which let's pack this away and then we'll decide later what to do with this, but I think it'll go into a spare parts bin. So what I can tell, the story checks out on this bike. So the guy was saying that the back wheel was damaged and he was going to fix it, but doesn't seem so. My concern is when someone's selling a bike without a back wheel, is it stolen? Oh, this is so crunchy. Let's feel these bearings. Can you hear that? Yeah, we're gonna have to grease up those. This is the back wheel situation we have here. We'll start with the good news. So on this side, I have this cone here and it's in a good condition. There's no pitting, it seems all right. The bearings themselves look in a good condition. Bad news is, on this side, this cone, I have a fair bit of pitting and it's busted. And I can feel the scoring on, with the nail on these bearings. Having said that, the old bike came with this and it has a pretty good cone and the bearings are in a good condition and it matches that. So I'm just going to replace those and we're good to go. Oh, and I forgot to mention, cups are in a good condition. So there's no issues there. There's no pitting on the cups. So that's another bonus. Did I just... Oh God, you idiot. So I have just merrily explained everything as I have re-greased and put all the bearings into this. And then realized the camera wasn't on and I've just turned it on. So what I've done, imagine, is re-greased everything, put all the bearings one by one, slid the whole thing in, put the other one, and I have just fitted this loosely and I need to now adjust the tension and make sure that it spins well, but the bearings are so much nicer now. So it was all about the cones and the bearings. Alrighty, the wheels are sorted, so let's give a frame a polish. Took a bit longer than expected with that back wheel, but that's how it goes sometimes. So I'm gonna finish polishing this, but I can already see the difference and I'll show you in a second. So the bike is looking so much nicer and cleaner. Just gave it a quick clean down. So yeah, cool. That looks pretty awesome. One thing I will do is change the seat. The main reason why I want to change it is, for some reason, I love this Connect Giant saddle. I had it on my old mountain bike and I've been looking to find one and I have finally found one. So we'll put a equally good on this one, but I'm really just want to keep this one for myself. So this is what I ended up doing with the gears at the end. This wheel has an 8-speed cassette, but the derailleur is a 6 to 7 speed. So what I've done is just shifted the whole action of a derailleur so it works from the top to the second last. So my speeds are, I'll go down to second last, and I just can't use the last cog, which is fine. Gives me all the range that I need up here. Does the job. And then the last thing I'll do is adjust all these shifters. I don't know why they're pointing where they're pointing, so I'll just raise them up a bit more neutral position. So again, when someone jumps on the bike to test ride it, you don't want the gears and all the controls to be in some weird position. And the bike is done and it looks pretty good. It is size large, so it looks kind of huge. It cleaned up really nicely. It's quite shiny. So I've adjusted the gears, or I've adjusted the controls a little bit more once I got it off the stand. And I've also taken off all the reflectors and stuff. The rear light wasn't working anyway, so, and I didn't have a spare, so I've just kind of taken all this stuff off. Now it's nearly 5 p.m. and it's still 29 degrees in the garage, so I am sweating right now. I am so gross. But this bike is done, so we're gonna advertise it. Actually, I won't advertise it. I'm gonna park it off on the side. I'm gonna get the retro bike or all the bike sorted first. Then I'm gonna advertise them at the same time. I'm kind of curious to see which one sells first. But first, I'm gonna have a beer and then I'll decide whether to start this one today or tomorrow. And we're back. Now that one beer turned into 3, and then I also realized I was going on a family holiday following day. So, you know, I lost track of days. So it's been a week now, but we're back onto this bike. So first thing I'll do today is address this issue with the broken cassette. It's missing one of the rings. Problem I have with this cassette is that it's Suntour. Now I did find out that this is actually a Freewheel. Freewheel, I'm using the right term, yep. It screws onto the hub. So if I can take this off, I can then put a Shimano one on and it should work. Slightly different gear ratios, but it should work. So what I need to do is take it off. Now, what happened is I ordered some tools from AliExpress and I got this one and it's wrong, it doesn't work. So then I went and asked the question and people said, yep, you need a 4-prong one. So I ordered that one and this came in, which is also wrong because I didn't check anything really. And now I'm at the point where do I wait for another tool just to take this off, or do I try and take this off MacGyver style? Right, let's give this a go, see how that goes. Quick consultation, and I think this thing is supposed to spin the clockwise to undo. So let's give this a go. Hey, helps when you spin it in the right direction. We have a whole bunch of bearings in there, so we'll take them out and then hopefully I can just take this off. Oop, I can. And there's all these bearings. The idea is to clamp this and then undo it in a vise. So let's give this a go. Let me pick up these bearings first. And it's done. So you got the body, you got these little clips, a whole bunch of bearings, and then a nut that sort of locks everything. This one's going in the bin, so I'm not going to really keep anything. And most importantly, this Shimano one actually fits no problem in here because it's the same thread. So, all right, so the wheel is done, and I've been thinking what to do with this bike and how to sell it. Now, my initial plan was to just kind of fix the issue with the cassette and then just put it on the market as a project bike and don't spend any time on it. But I'm thinking I'll probably be able to get a few bucks more if I make it a rideable bike. It just opens the kind of potential buyer's market. Someone who wants a project can go and have a play with it, but someone who just wants a pub bike or just a cheap bike can also use it. So I've decided I'm gonna make it perfectly rideable without spending much effort or time on it. So the wheel bearings need a bit of grease. So I'll just literally just slap some grease in them, inspect the things, make sure the brakes work and all that sort of stuff, make the bike rideable really. And then I'll probably convert the bars to the flat bars. It's easy, quick. Frankly, it's faster for me to do that than it is to wrap the bars because I've literally done it once. So yeah, I'll make it a rideable bike. I'll sell all the parts to go with it, but that's the plan. What I'm going to do is squirt some grease in there. Slap it all together and it's done. Check and see what the front feels like, but it should be okay. Feel it again, feels perfect. And now we'll put this cassette on. Cool. Now next thing I want to do is put the wheel in and see if I can free up this chain. I know, I should replace it, but I think with a bit of grease and lube it'll free up and it might be still usable. I do have a spare chain, used one, but spare one that I can replace it with, but let me give that a go first. Now what I'll try and do is use this petrol-based lubricant. See if I can make it work, or is this too far gone? Alright, so the chain freed up kinda, but man, it feels so bad, so I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna replace it. I have another second-hand chain here. Alrighty, let's give this a go. I tried to adjust the gears off camera, messing around with it up and down, and it just didn't work. So I decided to swap around the cassette. So this silver one here that I originally put on just sounded like a freight train. This is a Shimano one, works so much better, bike shifts gears now, and more importantly, it actually sounds like a proper bike. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. Like I said, shifts the gears. I need to adjust the top one, but it shifts all the way down to the bottom. That's the rear sorted now. Let's get the handlebars done. This was the other reason why I decided to go with the flat bars. These hoods are completely gone, so even wrapping it with the new bar tape just wouldn't make sense. But while I was taking this off, I also noticed that this head bearing is a bit loose, so I'm going to retighten it and just squirt some grease in there. We just squirt some grease in there, call it a day. That's that done. Alrighty, let's put the stem. Now you'll notice I'm not putting any grease because there's already grease in there. Alrighty, yep, close enough. I'll adjust that later. Alrighty, next thing I'm going to put on is the handlebars. Now these are some cheap, plain steel bars I had laying around, and I've just given them a coat of paint, so they look $1,000,000 now. Well, you know, better than they were. Right here, so that's the bars in there. Now the other thing I'm doing is putting these leftover, the 200 GS cantilever bars, brake levers rather. So I'm gonna put these on, and again, same deal, I'm just reusing these grips from somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're even from a kid's bike, but they're kind of shortish, so because these have like this massive plastic piece, if I put the bigger grips, it's gonna push the levers too far down, so that's what I'm going with. Oop. Cool. That's the rear brake done. We'll adjust the front. Alrighty, brakes are adjusted, grips are installed, and I've adjusted, like I said, everything works as it should now. So the brakes brake quite nicely. It's all done. Cheers. So bike's done, and they ended up looking pretty cool. Now this is how much I spent on them. So for this bike, that's the total spend. This bike was even cheaper. So this is how much I spent on this bike. Pretty damn good. So let's list these for sale and see how much we end up with. And the bikes are sold. Yet again, I probably underpriced them, but they sold quick, and that's what I was after. The modern bike was sold to a gentleman who was buying it for his son. Yeah, that was the easy one, except the back wheel. Yeah, that was a bit of a hassle and overpaid for what I got, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. The retro bike I ended up selling for this much. That one was sold to a guy who had a fixie and he wanted something kind of flat bar fixie looking, but with gears. So yeah, he was super happy about it. Along the way, while I was selling this bike, I had a guy reach out who was actually selling these bikes back in the 90s. He had a couple of shops that were selling these bikes. So he gave me a bit of a history on this one. I'm gonna put the extra info in the video description, or you can just check it out on Instagram. I've added some extra photos of this bike, so yeah, check it out. Now, more importantly, our total is currently over 1,500 bucks. Absolutely stoked. Did not think I would get there when I started this. But more importantly, I have bought something. It's on its way from Idaho, USA, but I haven't received it yet. Hopefully within the next few weeks, I'll get it and then I'll be able to share with you what I bought. I'm so excited about it because it's literally what I was after, but until it gets here, until I have it in my hands and actually see what I bought, I'll then celebrate. So yeah, if you're keen to see what happens with this, make sure you subscribe and follow this channel. And yeah, check out the Instagram for some other builds. See ya.